Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of Mission X on the IntelliVision from 1983. A game where you shoot things and blow stuff up with an airplane. So a good game. Enjoy. The CGR tune is a bit funkier than the soundtrack for Mission X, but this is a good game, one of the best on the IntelliVision from 1983, a vertical scrolling arcade-style airplane shooter. Like Xevious, you bomb ground targets and shoot air targets, except unlike Xevious, you spend most of your time bombing, and you're not fighting aliens. You're in World War II. Of course you could be fighting aliens in World War II, who knows? Anyway, here's the box art. Mission X, you control a World War II plane bombing enemy targets, like bridges. Look at that, you destroy both sides of the bridge, and the game gives you bonus points. There's some tanks, enemy gun turrets or missile turrets, and every now and then some planes will fly out and just crash right into you or shoot you, so watch out for the planes. What makes Mission X really interesting is that, unlike most of these games, you control your altitude, so that may not be immediately apparent from watching the footage, but pushing down on your IntelliVision pane disc will make the plane fly lower, pulling back on the pane disc will make it fly higher. It's easier to bomb ground targets when you're flying at a higher altitude because you're moving slower. But that means the enemy planes have an easier time shooting you down, so if you want to avoid the enemy aircraft, it's best to fly low and fast and kind of hover towards the middle of the screen. Stay in the middle of the screen. You only move left and right, so you don't move up and down in the two-dimensional plane, at least. Here's the Mission X controller overlay, which looks super cool. This is actually one of the best-looking controller overlays, and as you can see, it hurts your thumb after a while. Like the other IntelliVision games, you're shooting and bombing and digging your thumb into the pane buttons and moving your plane around with the pane disc, but it's not as bad as some of the other IntelliVision games. Now, you use the altitude as a strategic element in Mission X because enemies will shoot at you. If you're flying up in the air, you can dive under their fire. If you're flying low, you can fly up into the air and avoid their fire. It's a fun game. Definitely one of the best on the IntelliVision. You fly daylight raids and nighttime raids. At night, it's not harder to see the enemy, it's harder to see you. You score big points by hitting the front of the train, blowing up the bridges, sinking the aircraft carriers. The object of the game, in all caps, bullets! Watch out! Enemy! Blow! Pieces high! Here's the point values and a look at the IntelliVision pane stick. Just the IntelliVision controller. There's a couple difficulty settings. Oh, there's one of the stupid airplanes. They just fly out of nowhere. If you're flying lower, you can avoid them. But when you're just cruising around at a high altitude bombing stuff, you're pretty much doomed. You can land on the landing strip every now and then in between rounds. The game is sort of broken up into rounds. That'll tell you your score. You can also bomb the landing strip, and it will reduce your score or destroy you if you're right next to it. So that's fun. Mission X can be found out there for a couple bucks. It's not a valuable game. I mean, it's valuable in the sense that it's good, but it does not command a high collector price. None of the IntelliVision stuff does. The IntelliVision is not to be mistaken for the Neo Geo, or anything with the word Nintendo on it. But if you enjoy a good old-school, vertical-scrolling arcade-style airplane or spaceship game, check this one out. Mission X! If it's got X in the title, it's gotta be good. Like Zaxxon, which has 2 X's. Or that other game. What's it called? Tatsujin? As always, thank you for watching. Classic Game Room is on Patreon. Classic Game Room Barware is at classicgameroom.com. And my books, Surf Panda, Jesus the Coked Up Chicken #2, and Retro Megatrex are on Amazon.com. Welcome to the Patreon Lord Carnage Club, being shouted from a turbo volcano. Michael and Ariana Nelson, Ian Shore, Stephen Chucknick, Al Stever, Rick DeBarros, Jason Goy, Andy Schleiss, Sergio Matthias Hergert, Philip Strabenmuller, Jack Stavris, Ohad Kane, Simon Allen, and Sean Zoltek.